Once upon a time, in a quiet forest, there stood a giant oak tree. Its branches reached high into the sky, and it was proud of its strength. Not far away from the oak tree, there grew a small grove of slender bamboo plants. They were thin and gentle, and they bent easily when the breeze blew through them. The oak tree often laughed at the bamboo. "Look at you, so weak and bendy. I stand tall and unshaken. No storm can knock me down," the oak tree would boast. The bamboo plants simply swayed and whispered, "We may look weak, but sometimes bending is better than breaking." One day, the oak tree was boasting to a young sapling about how strong he was. "I am the strongest tree in this forest," he said. "I have stood here for many years, and no matter how hard the wind blows, I do not move." The young sapling looked up at the oak tree in admiration. "You are indeed very strong," he said. "But have you ever seen the bamboo grove over there? They seem to bend with the wind without breaking." "How is that?" The oak tree scoffed. "They are weaklings. They have to bend because they are weak. But I am strong. That is why I stand tall and straight. If I were to bend like them, I would be no better than a reed in the wind." Just then, a wise old tree who had been listening to their conversation spoke up. "Oh, foolish oak tree, you may think that your strength lies in your height and your rigid branches. But sometimes true strength comes from flexibility and humility. You may be strong, but you are also stubborn and proud, and that could be your downfall." The oak tree waved his branches dismissively. "I am not afraid of any storm. No wind or rain can knock me down," he said. The wise old tree shook his head sadly and turned back to the conversation with the young sapling. "You see, young one, it is important to learn from those who are different from us. Each of us has our own strengths and weaknesses, and we must learn to accept them." The young sapling nodded, but the oak tree was too proud to listen. He continued to boast about his strength and mock the bamboo until one day his arrogance was brought low. It was a hot summer day, and the sky was filled with dark clouds. A terrible storm was coming. The oak tree watched as the clouds rolled in and the wind began to pick up. He felt a sense of excitement mixed with fear. "This is the test I have been waiting for," he thought. "This is where I show everyone how strong I am." The first raindrops fell from the sky, and the oak tree stood tall and firm. The wind grew stronger, and the rain came down in torrents, but still the oak tree did not move. He could feel his roots digging deep into the ground, holding him fast. "I am strong," he whispered to himself. "No storm can knock me down." But as the storm raged on, the oak tree began to feel a sense of unease. The wind was shaking his branches like a leaf. He could hear the sound of thunder and see the flashes of lightning. For the first time, he began to doubt his strength. "Am I strong enough?" he wondered. Suddenly, there was a loud crack of thunder, and a bolt of lightning struck the tree. The oak tree screamed in pain as his branches snapped and fell to the ground. He tried to stand tall, but his roots were not strong enough to hold him anymore. With a final groan, the oak tree fell to the ground and lay there in a heap. Meanwhile, the bamboo grove was swaying gently in the wind. The bamboo plants were flexible and resilient, and they bent with the wind instead of fighting against it. They whispered to each other in soft voices as they swayed, sharing stories and jokes to keep their spirits up. When the storm finally passed and the sun began to shine again, the forest was a very different place. The oak tree lay broken on the ground, his branches scattered around him. The birds that had nested in his branches had flown away, and the animals that had sought shelter in his shade were gone. The bamboo grove, however, was unharmed. The plants stood tall and proud, their leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. They had weathered the storm together and emerged even stronger than before. One of the bamboo plants noticed the fallen oak tree and felt a pang of sympathy for him. "We may have been right about bending, old friend," he said softly. The oak tree groaned and replied, I don't understand. Why did I fall? I thought I was strong." "Your strength was in your height and your rigidity, old friend," said another bamboo plant. "But sometimes true strength comes from flexibility and humility. We bend, but we do not break. We learn from the wind and the rain, and we grow stronger because of it. You, however, were too proud to learn from us. You thought you were too strong to bend, and in the end, you broke." The oak tree felt ashamed. He realized that his pride had been his downfall. "I am sorry," he whispered. "I was wrong." The bamboo plants whispered amongst themselves, and one of them finally spoke up. "Do not be sad, old friend. We all make mistakes. The important thing is to learn from them and grow stronger. We may be different, but we are all part of this forest, and we must help each other to thrive." And so the bamboo plants helped the oak tree to heal and grow back stronger than before. They shared their wisdom with him, and he learned how to bend with the wind instead of fighting against it. From that day on, the oak tree was a changed tree. He was still strong and proud, but he was also humble and flexible. He learned that true strength comes from accepting our weaknesses and learning from those who are different from us. As the years went by, the oak tree and the bamboo plants grew old together. They shared stories and laughter, and they faced many more storms, but they never broke. They stood side by side, strong and resilient, and they became the best of friends. So remember, my little friends, that flexibility and humility can be stronger than pride and stubbornness. Just like the bamboo plants, we must learn to bend with the wind instead of fighting against it. And remember, true strength comes from accepting our weaknesses and learning from those who are different from us. Now, before we say goodbye, I want to ask you a question. What did the oak tree learn from the bamboo plants? Pause the video here if you want to make a prediction. If you're a parent or teacher watching, feel free to pause the video here and ask your kids or students this question. Go ahead, little ones. What do you think the moral of the story is? Let's see some hands. Great job, child's name. That's right. The oak tree learned that flexibility and humility can be stronger than pride and stubbornness. Well done, everyone. Give yourselves a round of applause. And if you're still watching, I have a special surprise for you. There are more stories waiting for you on our channel. So click on the subscribe button and join our family. We'll see you next time.